Okay, hi everybody. We're here with Heidi Hinkemeyer, and Heidi is one of our Title I teachers at Cold Spring Elementary. Heidi, how are you today?
I am great. How are you, Mr. Scanson?
I am doing well. Can you tell people because people sometimes ask, what is a Title I teacher?
hmm
What's your main role?
Okay, so first of all, on behalf of the intervention team, I just wanted to say that Mrs. Stavros and Mrs. Bose and Mrs. Jansen, we just want to say hello to all of the students that are at CSE, and especially our reading and math kiddos. We miss you so much, and we hope that you are happy and healthy. So yeah, as an intervention team, basically we work with students who need a little bit of extra help in math and or reading. Usually we meet with kids for about 30 minutes a day, 4 to 5 days a week in small group settings, as well as sometimes even one-on-one. The students have to qualify for those services. So based on some of our school assessments that we do, and then we kind of target what each kid needs based on those assessments.
Great. Yeah, well, I know that you guys do a wonderful job with our kids that need some extra help in both math and reading. And if you guys don't know this, but the title team is a veteran, experienced staff, and has a wealth of knowledge in helping our kids. So we're so happy that they're part of our team. So I guess one of my main questions for you is how can you support how can you support children at home with reading?
Yeah, so that's actually something that we get asked quite a bit. And we always say the number one answer to that is to read. It sounds so simple, but it really is one of the most effective ways to help your kids with reading. A lot of times you hear that you should be reading with your child 20 minutes every single night. Which sounds, as for us parents, it sounds a lot easier than it actually is. It's actually quite difficult sometimes to find those reading minutes. So a lot of times we hear two barriers to that. One is time. It's always hard to find the time. And sometimes we have the kids aren't just not interested in finding that time to read. So what we tell kids a lot of times in families is that you just have to work around your schedule. Some days you have those 20 minutes, some days you don't. So on the days that you don't, try to do something, even if it's 5 minutes. On the other days when you have more time, find more time to read. And I think we really have to be creative now about finding time to read with our kids and making it a little bit more interesting. Kids can read a variety of things. It doesn't always have to be just books. Kids can read magazines, they can read newspapers. A lot of things are online now. So the Epic website has a lot of great things on it. Second of all, I always tell parents to kind of look for what their kids are interested in. Find out their interests. If they're interested in sports, try to find sports books. If they're interested in fishing, try to find fishing books. That really helps for that engagement piece. Also, we always tell parents to try to have your kids reading at materials that are at their level. So if kids are reading books that are too hard for them, they are going to get frustrated and they're not going to want to do it. So find things that are good for them to read and that are easy so that they feel that success. Books in a series are always really good to get your kids reading. Oftentimes, if they find the first book, and they're hooked on it, then they're going to want to read the rest of the series. So that's another way. Our youngest readers who maybe aren't quite reading yet, a good thing for them is to do some rhyming activities. Talk about words, sing songs, read poetry. Those are all really good things for your kids. The last thing that I wanted to mention is that it's so important to read with your kids, no matter what their age. A lot of times, as soon as our kids start to be readers, we kind of let them go and we let them be a little more independent. And it's so, so important for parents to be reading with their kids, no matter what age they are. It's really good for those kids to hear what fluent readers sound like. And then to piggyback off of, I just thought of Mrs. Vanderhagen last week when you interviewed her, and she talked about kindness. This would be a really great time to connect with maybe loved ones or family members that you can't see, but maybe you can call them and read them a book, or you can do a video chat and have your kids read to them. I thought that would be a really kind of fun thing to do.
Those are all great suggestions, Heidi. I know one of my favorite things to do at night is part of that bedtime routine, and is to sit down. Some people know this, but I have 5 kids in my house, and my favorite part of the night is sitting down and reading a story with them at the end of the night. And sometimes it's okay to repeat books. Sometimes we read the same book every night for 5 nights in a row, and I want parents to know that that's okay.
Yes.
That's okay, because that's how we reinforce language and everything.
We are reading right now. My son is in kindergarten, and so we are reading the Fish in the Tree book. We're a little behind, but that's what we do before we go to bed. And then he even loves some comprehension questions at the end. And him and my husband try to see who can get the most questions right. It's not always my husband, actually.
No. I do have an exclusive scoop that I want to release in our conversation here today. So one of the books that we focused on this year for Principal Book Club is the Remarkable Journey of Coyote Sunrise. And the author is Dan Guillemhart, and he wrote another book called Scar Island that we did for Principal Book Club. And I just got confirmation that Dan has agreed to do a Zoom meeting with me that we're going to record and be able to ask him some questions.
Oh, fun.
So
Great.
Any of those kids out there that have read those 2 books and want me to ask him some questions, please submit by pushing the Connect with Dr. Scanson button, and we'll make sure that we ask those questions to him.
That's awesome. Good.
Okay. The last thing is, do you have any final advice for our Title I families and students?
Yeah, we are here. We are here throughout this whole thing. We're here for you. We want to support you in whatever that you need. Our link, our Title I link, is connected to your student's classroom link. So if you just go to your Classroom S'more, find your newsletter, and then there should be a link that connects you to all things Title. We will have notes to families. We have a little bit of some activities that are suggested, and just a way to connect with those families. We're also connecting through Seesaw. We're connecting through Class Dojo and Teams, kind of depending on whose teacher is using what. So kind of be on the lookout for that too. But we would love to help. Anything that you need, we are here to help you. So please feel free to contact any one of us. And we would love to connect with your kids, maybe do a little bit of reading with them. But yeah, and to our kids, you are amazing. We miss you. You're doing so fantastic. And we can't wait to see everybody again.
All right. Thanks for joining us today, Heidi. Again, this is Heidi Hinkemeyer, one of our fabulous Title I teachers in the McCrory District. Thanks for being with us today.
Absolutely. Thanks.
Bye.
Bye-bye.